So with that, let's move on to our next story, which is again Kyle's latest feud against her ex-BFF, Dorit Kemsley. Now let's break down what happened between the two ladies, and I have a question for you guys. Now we know that Dorit is the only one who hasn't gotten her contract back. Do we want Dorit back for season 14 so that she and Kyle can hash it out and get the real scoop on what's going on in their feud and their friendship? Or do you think, nope, Dorit has had enough seasons to make an impact? She clearly hasn't. It's time for her to leave. So let's break down their friendship, feud, frenemy situation. So this is according to Us Weekly. But before I get into the article, I think the number one reason for the demise of their friendship is the cheating and affair rumors about Dorit and Mauricio. So I grabbed a couple of videos for us to watch. Anybody watching this on the replay, if any of the videos don't play, it's because NBC made me take them down. But if you guys are watching live, you'll get to see it, and hopefully they won't make me take them down. So here are a couple videos sort of explaining the Mauricio and Dorit cheating allegations. And I also want to make it clear, I did not start that rumor. I get some comments sometimes like, what? I'm like, I did not start the Mauricio and Dorit rumor. I just report on it. So let's watch, okay?
You want more, I'll give you more. Speaking of the Dorit rumors and Kyle spiraling, we have the latest Dorit and PK blind item and the latest Mauricio Umansky Dorit blind item. But first, I posted on my main, y'all saw Mauricio Umansky come out with his Emma Slater, his Dancing with the Stars partner, talking about that handhold. The reason why Mauricio had Emma Slater do that video is because between the former Playboy model, the former actress, and his current network reality co-star, this married real estate agent can't keep all the women in his life straight. So Mauricio is allegedly hooking up with Kendra Wilkinson, Emma Slater, and Kyle Richards all at the same time. So Emma Slater had to help him out there because they can't know about each other. Tell them about each other. Now y'all saw this. RHOBH's Dorit Kemsley and Paul Kemsley deny separation amid challenging years in marriage. We remain committed. So despite the fact that they have been living separately and in different residences, they're split. They're split. But the real reason for the split, this housewife had a long time affair, which was really the downfall of her marriage and her lover. But her lover has moved on, even though he said he would be there for her when she finally split with her husband and her lover split with his wife. So this blind item is saying Mauricio and Dorit definitely carried on a years-long affair, okay, while RHOBH was going on. Then they made a deal to leave their respective spouses. Dorit would leave PK, Mauricio would leave Kyle. Mauricio and Kyle split, right? They split. They split. She's in her fucking girl-on-girl era. He's in his Kendra Wilkinson and 18 other women era. And denying hand-holding claims because they were in their rehearsal outfits video. And then Dorit was like, great, I'm going to leave PK now. And then Dorit went and left PK. And Mauricio was like, girl, what? I'm hooking up with literally like 18 other women. You're not the only one now. And now Dorit's like, just kidding. PK and I like are trying to work it out and heal. God, rich people, they are literally nothing like us.
Oof, you guys. So shout out to Kyle Marissa Roth. She is an amazing TikToker. Unfortunately, she recently passed away. It was a huge shock. Again, I think that her passing was very, very suspicious. I have followed her. She's amazing. She's fantastic. So shout out to Kyle Marissa Roth. Rest in peace, sweetheart. And we still love you, and you're amazing reporting still lives on. So that was Kyle Marissa Roth. She just passed away. So I just wanted to show her some love and my condolences and just let everybody know that she was amazing while she was here. And she would love that we're talking about all this stuff. So yeah, there were a bunch of blind items and rumors about Mauricio and Dorit, from them smashing to them having a leave our spouses pact. And for me, there's a little bit of validity to that when you think about it, because PK and Dorit's marriage basically dissolved the same exact time that Kyle and Mauricio's marriage dissolved. You know, PK and Mauricio's friendship, they sort of have like kept up appearances a little bit, but like we saw in last season, PK and Mauricio were not hanging out. Mauricio basically was like, I'm not doing the UK reality show with you anymore. I'm going to go over to Netflix and do my own thing with Buying Beverly Hills. Obviously, Kyle and Dorit are no longer friends. They're not even on speaking terms. The last time they spoke was at the reunion. We've seen them at like different bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs and little things like that. But again, those are more like family gatherings and friends. It's not like the two of them actually being like friends anymore. And I think it's like, again, I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in conspiracy. The fact that these two marriages basically crumbled at the same exact time, right after the rumor comes out that Mauricio and Dorit are knocking boots. So let's watch a couple of more videos and then we'll dive into some more of what's going on with these two ladies.
You can't tell me this timing is not impeccable. Dorit and PK are separating, and as we know, Kyle Richards and Mauricio are separated. We all know the rumors between Mauricio and Dorit. The timing right now is so perfect. Like, we're gonna need Mauricio to come through. I'm gonna need Mauricio and Dorit to at least go on a couple dates together. Just for the drama, just for the tea. I know that they would really never date in real life, but I want Mauricio to stir the pot. Because that man has been embarrassed for the last year with Kyle Richards, and how Kyle Richards has been parading all around town with Morgan Wade. So I think it's Mauricio's time.
How are you? You look beautiful.
Thank you, my love.
My wife.
I don't think so. If we had to take the wives out of the who wins? Who wins?
Your wife.
Clearly, Kyle's not worried about it because she sat them both together at the dinner in Aspen. So, why are we worried if she's not? Thanks for the question. What's my take on Dorit and Mauricio? Do I think they're having an affair? Well, they do act very strange together.
You made it home.
I spoke to you last night.
Before all this. What's up, ladies?
Hi, honey. Here. Perfect timing. Hi, honey.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I don't know. It's just so far-fetched, but she's over the top lovey. Like, it's always like, my love, honey. Like, all the things like what Yolanda was like. I feel like she's just over the top Yolanda. But there's a few more.
Again, listen, ain't nobody calling my man honey right after me. Stay in your place, ding dong Dorit. Now, I have always said this. Whether or not Dorit and Mauricio actually crossed the line into like a physical affair, I don't know. But I would say, I think that Dorit clearly, in my opinion, has a sexual attraction, crush, whatever you want to call it, to Mauricio. Whether or not Mauricio genuinely reciprocates those feelings, I don't know. He always just kind of seems like, hey guys, what's going on? Okay. He always seems kind of distracted. Maybe he pops some edibles. He's just kind of doing his own thing, like whatever. But I think her attraction to him is pretty clear and pretty evident. That would be enough for me as Kyle to cut Dorit off. You know, you're not calling my man, my husband, honey, you're not kissing him, you're not smelling him, you're not flirting with him, you're not giving him the sexy eyes, you're not doing all of that to my man. Absolutely not. You're not going to play in my face, act like you're my friend, but then clearly have the hots for my husband. Even if my husband was the most faithful man in the world, because we all know Mauricio has had his cheating allegations, whatever the case may be, whether they are true or false, allegations enough are painful. It doesn't sit right. So on this particular one, I'm team Kyle, because I do think Dorit has been inappropriate with Mauricio, whether it's just an energy, an innuendo, a look, a kiss, a smell, a honey. No, thank you. I see what you're doing. Bye-bye. Stay out my man's face is pretty much how I would feel. So I think this is really the crux, the real foundation, the breaking point between these two women is the cheating allegations and rumors about Dorit and Mauricio. Now let's dive into some other issues that these two women have had. Again, this is from Us Weekly. It says Dorit, Kemsley, and Kyle Richards have been joined at the hip throughout the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but their friendship has taken quite the turn. Season 13 followed the cracks in their relationship, with Dorit expressing concerns that Kyle was prioritizing other friends over her. The following month, things between the Bravo stars started to escalate when Kyle suggested that Dorit was exaggerating the nature of their friendship, citing a comment Dorit made about Kyle not inviting her to trips anymore. Again, I'm with Kyle on this. If I just half of me thinks you want to sleep with my husband, you're damn right I'm not inviting you to vacations. I'm not inviting you into my home. No, I'm not. So I'm with Kyle on this. This is not to be shady, but we've only gone on one trip together as a couple that I can recall. Mauricio Umansky, PK Kemsley, Dorit, and me, Kyle said during a January 2024 Amazon Live. We did do Vegas together, that's true, and then we've been in London at the same time, but that was just a flat-out exaggeration. Dorit has since taken umbrage with Kyle's interpretation of their friendship. Now, this is where I'm team Dorit. I'll get into what she says, but this is where I'm team Dorit. If you're going to blank me, if you're going to, deny our friendship, say we had an exaggerated friendship, if you're going to ghost me, at least be woman enough to admit why. Kyle saying that Dorit exaggerated their friendship is a lie. They were really good friends. They were doing couples vacations and dinners and hanging out. They were attached at the hip. They were very, very, very close friends. So was PK and Mauricio. To the point where they were like, oh no, the affair rumors are so ridiculous. We're just really close friends as couples. My children are like Auntie Mo, Auntie Kyle, all of that. You know what I mean? So even Kyle was saying how close they were, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, people are saying we're swingers. No, we're just really close. So Kyle, stand on business, stand 10 toes down, and just be like, either do it in a very sly way, like you don't have to be like abrasive or anything. You could do it in a slick way, but be honest about why you don't mess with Dorit anymore. You don't mess with Dorit because you felt some type of way about how she was coming for your man. Just be honest. That's the reason why you don't mess with Dorit anymore. I mean, you decided to walk away from a 27-year marriage because your husband is doing whatever X, Y, and Z out there in these streets. Nobody would blame you from walking away from a few years friendship with Dorit because she's looking at your man some type of way. But like, stand on your business. That's how I would respect you. You don't have to come out and say it, but don't act like you and Dorit weren't BFFs because you were. Come on. Okay. When you're close, it's inevitable that you have some highs and some lows, Dorit told Access Hollywood while attending the People's Choice Awards in February of 2024. This year was strange, both independently for us and also in our friendship collectively. So yeah, it was inevitable to have some things to hash out. Now let's walk through the timeline. So Dorit makes her Real Housewives of Beverly Hills debut. Dorit appeared on the show for the first time during the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 7, which premiered in 2016, getting introduced to the women through Lisa Vanderpump. Dorit's fast friendship with Kyle created a triangle of sorts with Lisa, who was no longer on the show. I'm never going to get in the middle between Kyle and Lisa's friendship, Dorit told People in February of 2018. I don't even know what they have. I know that when we're together, we have a lot of fun, and I love these girls. And I know when I'm with them individually, we also have a great fun. Fans became privy to how close Dorit and Kyle became that year when Teddi Mellencamp joined the show for season 8. When Kyle defended Teddi and not Dorit during an argument, the Beverly Beach founder was confused. I don't know why one of my best friends would be sticking up for someone that she just met rather than sticking up for me, Dorit said during a 2018 episode. It really hurts me. It just feels so wrong. Well, Dorit, welcome to Kyle. She had found her mouthpiece in Teddi, so she was going to stick beside Teddi no matter what. And you did get in between her and Lisa, but that's for the Puppygate. Despite any lingering tension between them, it seemed Kyle and Dorit were back to their old ways during the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 9 in 2019, especially when Puppygate was involved. Kyle stood up for Dorit with Lisa when the famed Lucy Apple Juicy dog ended up in a kill shelter. Dorit had adopted the pup from Vanderpump Dogs, but tried to rehome the pet before it ended up in the shelter. Kyle's allegiance to Dorit ultimately ended up making Lisa leave the show. Again, I don't think it was Kyle's allegiance to Dorit. I think it was the fact that Kyle, Dorit, Lisa Rinna, Erica Jane, and Teddi Mellencamp banded together to create the faux Fox 5 to bring down Lisa Vanderpump when she was grieving the death of her brother and her mother. So that's why their friendship broke up. Dorit and Kyle stopped speaking. The following year, the friends hit a bump in the road when Dorit claimed that Kyle would throw her name on the clothes to find success. Kyle had launched her Kyle X Shahida clothing line with Shahida Clayton, which aired during season 10. I didn't just put my name on the clothing line like Dorit suggested, Kyle wrote via X at the time. I worked closely with Shahida on the looks we wanted. Now, this gets into the whole jealousy and competition thing. So basically what Dorit said was that Kyle just put her name on it. She wasn't really a designer. She wasn't really, actively involved in the business. She basically just put her name on it, almost like a white label, like, oh, this is my clothing line, but you just put your name on it. Sheen by Sheree type situation is what Dorit is saying. And Kyle was basically like, no, I was a part of the process. This is my business. I was doing all of the designs. Where the jealousy and competition comes in is Dorit has always wanted to be a designer. Beverly Beach by Dorit. What happened to that? That was a flop. She was allegedly curating and designing wedding dresses one season for like half a season. What happened to that? So Dorit's always wanted to be a designer, wanting to be in fashion, but she's kind of had all of these fake businesses and false starts. I don't really know what Dorit does. People have come at Dorit for wearing fake designer clothes and buying designer stuff and then going back to the store to, return it, doing those sort of like buy and return schemes and scams, all of that. So I do think that there is a level of jealousy and competition between the two women when it comes to fashion, being a designer, having brands and clothing lines and all of that. And then I also think there's a jealousy and competition between them in general when it comes to Mauricio's attention, for one, and, other things. Who's better friends with Lisa? Who's better friends with this person? All of that stuff. There does seem to be a bit of jealousy and competition between the two. Okay. Kyle and Dorit do go on vacation with their husbands. Despite the tension during the season, Kyle and Dorit went on vacation with their husbands, Mauricio and PK, in September of 2020. Again, Kyle exaggerating their friendship is a little bit off the mark. Kyle supports Dorit in the robbery aftermath. When Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 12 premiered in 2022, the first episode revealed that Dorit had been robbed at Pew Pew Point in her home while PK was away in London. Kyle rallied the women, inviting them all to her house as a support system for Dorit. But again, this could be a sticky point because don't forget, both of women's robbery has kind of been looked into as maybe fraud, maybe insurance scams, maybe, setups that they did themselves. Because again, both of them had Teddi Mellencamp's husband, Eddie's surveillance security system up. One said he did it, but the cameras were down. With Kyle's house, super shady. Again, we've all done the deep dives into the questionable validity of these home robberies, with Teddy and her husband being at the center of them. So, of course, Kyle is going to support Dorit during the robbery, because if she doesn't, and it turns out that Dorit's robbery is proven to be fraudulent, then it can easily be proven that Kyle's might have been fraudulent, since they were very, very similar. Both had the same Teddy Mellencamp husband security. So there also might be that mutually assured destruction. So is that really a friendship, or is that just, I'm going to keep your secret because by keeping your secret, I'm keeping my secret? You know what I mean? How Kathy Hilton is involved. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 12 reunion featured a conversation between sisters Kyle and Kathy following the drama that went down earlier that season. Kathy threatened to destroy Kyle following a night out in Colorado, allegedly. When Dorit attempted to chime in, Kyle cut her off, saying, "I don't want you to interject in this right now." This is why Dorit says at this year's reunion that she knows Kyle's nature, that unless you're saying what Kyle wants you to say, unless you are being Kyle's yes person and mouthpiece, if you go against her in any way, or not just with her, she will punish you. So the fact that that Dorit had the audacity to hold Kyle accountable and just say, hey, Kathy might just want you to say, well, this was my part in it, to find common ground to get back with your sister. Kyle basically went after her and was like, I don't want you to chime in, mind your business. Behind the scenes, you're saying you support me, but at the reunion, you're siding with Kathy. And the thing with Kyle is, I think she thinks supporting her just means being a yes person to her. And that's not true friendship. That's not true support. True friendship and support is, yes, being there for your friend, but also showing them areas where they could grow, where they could take accountability, where they could become a better version of themselves. And Kyle just always playing the victim. And unless you are saying what she wants you to say, she's going to punish you and ice you out and basically do everything she accuses Kathy of doing. That's not right either. So that's why Dorit says, I know your nature and you're punishing me because I said something you didn't like. And that's also emotional abuse, by the way. So there is that. Things start to unravel as Kyle started to get closer with singer Morgan Wade. Dorit started to feel iced out, especially after hearing the Amazon Live comment. There's stuff with Kyle and I that's going on, and it hurts and bothers me the most, Dorit told Erica Jane in a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 13 reunion preview from February of 2024. I haven't heard from her in a couple of months. Then she sends me a text yesterday, basically trying to silence me. It was so manipulative. It was so calculated. The text messages was shared on screen, and Kyle wrote that it bothers her to be in a weird place with Dorit. They don't even know we are going through a hard time, so I don't see the need to bring it up there. Kyle's text continued. I should have said something sooner, but I honestly haven't been strong enough. But relationships and you are more important to me than the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. However, Dorit also told Access in February of 2024 that she and Kyle will always end up landing on our feet. I don't know about that. Let's see if you get your contract first, Dorit, before you say all that. Now, when it comes to the text message being leaked, I'm actually on Team Kyle. I didn't see it as manipulation and trying to silence Dorit. I saw it more as Kyle being like, so we're going to continue to lie, right? This season, they don't know how hard of a time we've had. They being production, the other girls, Andy, the audience. So let's just keep up the lie because I have other fish to fry at the reunion. I got to deal with Sutton. I got to deal with Crystal. I got to deal with blah, blah, blah. I want to deal with all of that. I'm just checking in to make sure we both are still lying, because Dorit could have just as easily brought to the show and made a much bigger deal about the rift between her and Kyle, but she didn't. She also showed up during the season. Yeah, there was awkward moments between them, but overall, everybody kind of just chalked that up to Kyle going through it with the Morgan stuff, with the tattoos, with the not drinking, with the Mauricio stuff. Everybody kind of chalked up it to Kyle going through it. her distance with Dorit, but clearly there's something much deeper going on, and it's a much bigger deal than any of them were acting like on the show. So Kyle basically was just like, they don't know the realness of going on between us. I'm just making sure we're both going to keep lying tomorrow. I don't see that as her manipulating Dorit or trying to silence Dorit. I just see her that as being like, you're still lying because I'm still lying, right? Cool. But because Dorit had nothing going on during the season, like, we don't want to hear about this PTSD, whatever the case is. You know, she didn't really have anything going on. She's going to take that as gold. She's going to give it to the producers. She's going to say Kyle is manipulative, trying to silence her. And, you know, she wants to, you know, get it all on the line with Kyle at the reunion because she's trying to save her diamond because she didn't really do anything else the rest of the season. What else? What other storyline did Dorit have other than Garcelle reading her for filth every single time she could with Dorit's microaggressions? Other than that, Dorit's only storyline was Garcelle checking her. Other than that, what did Dorit have going on? I'll wait. So of course she's going to take that because Kyle is obviously in the hot seat. She has so much going on and she needs to save her diamond. So when it comes to that, I'm on team Kyle. And I think Dorit was just looking for anything to make a moment to keep her diamond. Whether or not that worked is still up in the air because rumor has it she hasn't gotten a contract. So she might be fired or demoted to a friend of. So I want to know what you guys think. Given everything that has gone down between Kyle and Dorit, whose side are you on? Are you on Kyle's side? Are you on Dorit's side? Are you on neither of their side? Do you want Dorit to come back full-time, friend of, or not at all? So as always, be sure to put it down below. And before you do that, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, you guys, I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and chat. But in the meantime, I will take some of your